Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video. And today's video, I want to talk about competitive gaming. And with this topic, it's very, very interesting because competitive gaming as a whole is a very, very big deal compared to what it used to be. Gaming is no longer just a pastime or a hobby. For the last couple of years, we've been able to make full-on jobs. We've been able to make it a sport. We've been able to make gaming a pop culture sensation into a almost everyday life activity, and it's amazing to see the change and how people are finally adapting around gaming and taking it seriously. But in turn, it's made a cost. By welcoming more people into the gaming community, we have also had the baggage that's been brought back into the community. And by baggage, I mean any outside problems that weren't an issue before. And competitive gaming, unfortunately, does have issues and baggage that doesn't necessarily sit well with the gaming community. For example, skill-based matchmaking. Everybody loves skill-based matchmaking, am I right? As I proceed to have a gun pointed in my head. But anyway, so skill-based matchmaking, in turn, is implemented into games because now it's considered a sport. For example, skill-based matchmaking is in your competitive modes, it's in normal, just esports, and plus also, it's even just in base games now. There's just a sense of just normal, just competitiveness. Some games just, by default, have skill-based matchmaking. And it's not just necessarily in a ranked playlist in particular. And that's the thing with gaming, is that something as simple as skill-based matchmaking, that it looks good on paper, but it's horrible in practice, stuff like that can affect the gaming community drastically. In fact, it's not even really a gaming community anymore. It's like gaming is a community just for everybody at this point. It's not necessarily like, oh, you're a gamer. I mean, sure, yes, there is still that, like, you know, logic of, hey, if you play video games, you're a gamer. But at this point, really, everyone's a gamer. I mean, really, if you think about it, honest to God, seriously, like, you got console gamers, you got mobile gamers, you've got PC gamers, you've got people that dabble, you've got people that take it seriously, you've got people that have this as a job, you've got YouTubers, you've got Twitch streamers. I mean, there's so many different types of people, and there's just companies that don't even necessarily play video games themselves, but they work with gamers to the point where they're almost like their own gamers. There's developers, there's studios, there's publishers, there's these third-party companies, and just everyone's getting into gaming now. I mean, crap, even Geico, the insurance company, has a gaming setup now going on. I saw that in a vlog at somebody's Comic-Con trip, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, Jesus Christ. Like, Geico's doing gaming now? Like, that's cool and all, but at what cost? Like, competitive gaming has, in turn, made two things happen with games. Number one, it's the obvious one, skill-based matchmaking and making games uberly competitive, like stupidly competitive. Like, you feel like that if you do not put effort in, like as if your family is locked in the basement, and unless you win, you're gonna freaking die. It's just like uber sweaty lobbies. And then there's the second set of people, or the second set with this, that just don't care, or they don't play those types of games, which now almost, it's weird, it's kind of like a flip. Originally, now it's like, you never used to take gaming seriously. Like, some gamers would be like, oh yeah, it's a big deal, why are you bashing on games? It's fun to me, and I think of it as, this big deal, and people just kind of like made fun of it. Now it's kind of like the other way around. Now games are like super competitive and super seriously, and there's some people that don't even really want to take it seriously anymore. People just like, just chill, it's a game, dude, or it's just a pub, that catchphrase that Thunder uses. Like, some people, they act like it's literal life or death, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy, it's impressive how good you are, it really, really is. But it's almost like you're beating up somebody, like, that's already been curb stomped. Like, sometimes the skill-based matchmaking is so, like, completely wrong. Like, how many times have you ever had skill-based matchmaking go where you're in a lobby and it's supposed to be equal skill level, but they're uberly sweaty than you, and it like almost demoralizes you, just being like, this guy's in my lobby and he's destroying me. Like, his skill level doesn't match mine, as much as you would like to believe you're good enough. And I'm not even trying to make this a skill-based matchmaking rant, but I'm trying to give the baseline of what has in turn been caused because of just gaming being competitive as a whole. Gaming being competitive is not a bad thing. In fact, it actually inspires greatness. If you're competitive, you're going to want to get better and better. You're going to want to plow through everything. You want to get, more achievements. You're going to want to get more skill. You want to perform better. You want to put on a show. And that's good. But what happens if you don't want to do that? Balance is key. I feel like that with competitive gaming, there's 3 things that need to be set in place from now on going forward. Number 1, competitive gaming should be optional. Not the optional logic where, like, if you don't want to play competitively, then don't buy the game. That's stupid logic. I'm sorry, but that's just complete crap. Every single game is going to be competitive, and I understand that the logic is like, if you don't want to put the effort in, don't play it. I completely understand that, but you should be able to do a naturally competitive thing, or a thing that could be competitive in a fun way. Like, for example, there's tournaments for everything. There's, the Olympics. There's professional sports like NFL, NBA, MLB, tons of stuff like that. And there's also gaming, chess. There's even weird things like underwater basket weaving, if you can believe it or not. And people take these competitively, but they also should be for fun. Gaming should always have a non-competitive playlist. Always. Always, always, always. Because there's some games, like let's say Overwatch, that doesn't have a campaign. And so the only thing you can do is play the multiplayer. And the multiplayer, every single mode has skill-based matchmaking. Some worse than others, but it's in every single freaking playlist unless you play bots or private match. And that's kind of ridiculous at that point. You should be able to play an online match completely randomly. Like, for example, when you have your buddies over for a weekend, you're drinking a couple of beers, and you're having a nice barbecue, and you're like, hey, let's play football. You know, you're trying to do a manly thing with your bros. You don't go to the New England Patriots at the Super Bowl to play football. You just play football with your friends. I feel like that if I relate my lobbies in gaming and skill-based matchmaking, I feel like every single game I'm playing against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots at the Super Bowl when I have a team full of people from the Special Olympics. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying is that it's not balanced. I'm not saying that if you have a disability or if you're bad, that you're a bad person. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I'm saying is that you should be able to have it be where you can have it be random. Random. Because the skill-based matchmaking in turn affects everybody. The people that are really, really good in destroying us to death, sure, that's fun from them in the meantime, but that always happens and they lobby and manipulate. Think about it this way. You're never going to improve because you're always playing people that are worse than you. The people that are always getting beaten down into the ground because they're always end up getting bad lobbies because they have bad teammates or they have sweaty enemies or both. They never get to be able to experience the game for fun because they always got to think of it as a competition. And the people that are getting carried by your good teammate, the one single good guy that got stacked for you, that one tryhard lobby when you're uberly casual and you only play the game like once a month, you're never going to improve either is because you're only being carried by your teammate. It's a lose-lose for everybody. If it's occasionally, absolutely, for sure. But if it's all the time, it doesn't work. So skill-based matchmaking in the long run is not going to help you either. It's got to be both ways. It can't be just one. Balance is key. Like, for example, you want to eat a little bit of junk food. Sure, you can eat a little bit of junk food, just don't eat too much or you'll get fat. Or you want to drink a couple of beers. Sure, but don't drink so much every day that you become an alcoholic. Or don't go around, banging somebody and getting somebody pregnant, because you might end up having a kid. And you weren't prepared for that. Like, there's just a certain level of morals and ethics and responsibility that I feel like just kind of gets mildly ignored. Even though it's just a game, it's important to me. And I'm pretty sure it's important to you. And you guys understand where I'm coming with this. Like, don't you want to feel like your teammates are trying just equally as hard as you? Like, if it's skill-based matchmaking, right? Your enemies and your teammates should both be trying just as hard as you. And I always feel like that my enemies are trying more hard than I. And I feel like my enemies are trying less on purpose, such as reverse boosters, casual gamers, or people that are just not communicating with me. And that is the recipe for disaster. Imagine you're playing a sport and the one guy can't speak because he's verbally not able to, the other guy's deaf, and the other dude's blind. That's what I feel like I'm doing. Like, you can't work with that. That's just how it feels playing competitive gaming, and unfortunately, it's making games die or get damaged reputation. What's another game I can give an example? I talked about how Overwatch is multiplayer only and it's, starting to go on a downward spiral. Let's talk about something like Fortnite. Fortnite had such a high standard of great things going for it, and then eventually it went just kept going down, and the one thing that I think set the nail in the coffin was the skill-based matchmaking update. When Fortnite added that into the game, so many people, especially big YouTubers, big names, big names, they all quit. Not because the game was bad, but because the game wasn't fun anymore. And gaming should always be about fun. If it was specifically about trying to end up doing a, all the time battle, going nail to nail, teeth to teeth, eye to eye sockets, if I really want to do that, I would just go into the hood and I would just say the N-word. If I want to fight for my life and act like it was a life or death situation, I'd just say the N-word in the hood. Like, I can get the same type of endurance and heart rate build up by doing that. And it's like, I swear to God, I'm literally fighting for my life in skill-based matchmaking lobbies. And unfortunately, competitive gaming, it's good. It's a sport now, technically, and it's considered a business. You can make it your full-time job. People make careers, and I highly, highly, highly respect that hustle. And in fact, I'm even trying to do it in my own now. And I wouldn't say I hate competitive gaming altogether, but it should be a choice. The other thing also as well with competitive gaming is that competitive gaming needs to have some more community influence, not just what developers say. Like, I feel like that certain things should be included, such as a ban protect system. The community purposely bans and protects items that make the game balanced. For example, if you have an overpowered character or an overpowered weapon in the game, until it gets nerfed, it's going to be abused until the freaking game either dies or you nerf it. I'm legit serious. Games have had that. Because as much as we don't like to admit it, we are selfish. We are selfish, and it's just like, don't use that overpowered gun, let me only use it on you type of logic. Like, that's exactly what we're hypocrites. As humans, we are a bunch of freaking hypocrites. So we need to have things like a ban protect system. We need to have things like forced game chat back, so even if people don't talk, they can at least listen to us. So that way, if they can say, hey, there's somebody right behind you, at least somebody can turn around and protect themselves and then get onto the point, for example. Stuff like that. Also, the last thing, by the way, with competitive gaming, other than it being optional, other than having things like forced game chat, ban protect system, like community influence, developers, just listen. I swear to God, I know that you're trying your hardest, and I know your standards have been raised, and I know there's people like Epic that tried so hard, and then eventually we bullied them to the ground because we didn't know what to make up your mind. Think about it this way. Do things like community polls, try things, if they don't go well, reverse them. If we want to try something, just try it. Seriously, if there's something that's annoying, please remove it if you can't nerf it. If there's something we want, can you please add it? That's all I ask. I am guilty of saying, multiple things wrong towards certain developers that were not true or just mean, and I'm sorry about that. But for the love of God, please just listen sometimes. I would rather have bad game attention and failed updates than no updates at all, because I'd rather just have where you just don't give up on the game. Do not give up on your craft because some people bullied you into a certain path. I honestly think that's what happened to Fortnite. I think the reason why Fortnite honestly is not the way that it was is because we ruined it. Not saying we as in you in particular. If you feel guilty, then it may or may not be you. But think about it this way. I feel like there's a decent part of the community. Some people, not everybody, not necessarily you either, but some people in the community that just complain abysmally and were never satisfied, almost like they were trying to not be satisfied, like try to impress me while I'm trying to actively not look. It's like that person that you try to make laugh and they're trying not to laugh, if that makes any sense. They look for a reason to not do it. I feel like there's some people that almost just specifically enjoy criticizing or just crap on success, so that way they just give up. And I feel like that's the reason why Epic has never been the same, since we basically bullied them into a corner. And I miss having that connection with Epic and just developers in general. So developers, all I ask is you try, because if you're going to try to make a game competitive, try to work with us. Because there's just some things that we don't see eye to eye on, and there's just some games that shouldn't be competitive, or should have competitive be an option. Like, why the hell do we have competitive Minecraft still to this day? I remember when the most competitive thing was Minecraft Hunger Games, and now we have people that are trying to speed run the game, and try to complete the game in like 2 minutes, while I'm still just getting dirt. So, not trying to crap on anybody, but just learn to just have fun and not take it too seriously. Like, play the game to just play the game. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys ended up enjoying. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace out.